Am I the jerk for telling my ex-husband's mistress's family to take the baby, or I will call Child Protective Services because he had a heart attack and can't care for anyone? May 30th, 2024. I am a 53-year-old woman and my soon-to-be ex-husband, David, who is 47, came home with a baby 4 months ago. Despite forgiving him for his affair, his 22-year-old girlfriend couldn't handle the responsibility anymore and left the baby with him at his workplace before leaving for Spain, as far as he knows. I allowed him to stay so long as I didn't have to do anything. I made it clear from the beginning that I had no intention of becoming involved in caring for this child, as my own children are grown and I have no desire to raise another. Well, about a month ago, David had a heart attack. It didn't kill him, more's the pity, but he is now very weak and incapable of doing anything for himself. Since he isn't up and about, he cannot care for his child. He also cannot drop off and pick up his son at daycare. This added a tremendous amount of strain to an already tense situation. I have been helping, but I'm done. My kids are full grown, and I shouldn't be having grandkids anytime soon. I do not have any desire to care for a baby, especially one that is a constant reminder of my husband's infidelity. The burden of childcare was never something I signed up for, and I feel it's unfair to expect me to shoulder this responsibility. I told David that I want a divorce, and I contacted the child's maternal grandparents. I know the father through friends. I said they had until Friday to come get their grandchild, or I would call Child Protective Services, CPS. I felt this was the best course of action for everyone involved, especially the child who deserves a stable environment. They just left with the baby, but they scolded me for being so cold towards a baby that had done me no harm. I view that child differently. To me, the child represents a painful chapter in my life and a betrayal that I am still trying to process. David is recovering, and I will be moving out. The house is in his name, but I have never contributed to it financially. I have the equivalent of 22 years of rent and interest put away as per our prenuptial agreement. My savings are my own. I have been diligent in protecting my financial independence, and I intend to move forward with my life without relying on anything from this marriage. I work and don't need anything out of this marriage except myself. My kids tried telling me to stay and help their father. I said that they were welcome to come over and help him with cleaning himself and the baby. Both declined what I felt was a fair offer. I found it hypocritical that they expected me to take on this role while they themselves were unwilling to do so. I do not feel that I'm acting badly. However, David, our children, his child's family, and a few mutual friends think I am. They seem to believe that I should stay and continue to support David through his recovery and help with the baby, but I believe I have the right to prioritize my own well-being and mental health. Perhaps writing this out and seeing the responses will give me clarity. I am hoping that by sharing my story I can gain a better understanding of my actions and whether I am justified in my decisions. This has been an incredibly difficult time, and I am doing my best to navigate through it with integrity and self-respect. Relevant comments. Commenter, not the jerk. That child was not your responsibility. Yes, it was innocent, but you're literally not responsible for raising it. You should have divorced David long ago. OP, and God forbid something happens, I literally cannot make any decisions regarding medical care or anything. Commenter, fake, not the jerk, serious. The child is only 4 months old, so there's no way you could have forgiven such a deep betrayal. If you've been married for decades, the house is rightfully yours, so make sure you get what you're owed. OP, I think the baby is almost a year old. The house was a premarital asset on our prenup. Commenter, I read over all of these comments. OP, returning the child to blood relatives who can care for it is not the jerk on your part. However, don't be the jerk to yourself and give up your house without first seeing an attorney to make sure you don't have a claim to any equity or retirement funds he may have. Don't leave without obtaining everything that is rightfully yours. You mentioned having savings for 22 years. That isn't enough for a lifetime. You may require more, so make sure to acquire it before you leave. OP, I have a little over $1 million in investments. I'll be fine. He paid for everything. I kept all my money. Commenter, women these days are cold as. OP, I can forward your info if you are volunteering to take over. Update 2, June 26, 2024. Almost 1 month later, I am no longer divorcing David. Sadly, due to complications from his heart attack, he has passed away. This leaves me feeling very conflicted. On one hand, he was the love of my life, but on the other, he was a cheating piece of trash. To the best of my knowledge, the child's mother will not return from Europe. Currently, the child is staying with her parents. They reached out to me asking what I thought should be done. I recommended putting the child up for adoption, though I made it clear that I did not mean I would adopt the child myself. This suggestion was not well received by the grandparents or by my own children. My children accused me of being cold and cruel. They insisted that I should take responsibility despite the child being related to them and not to me. I countered by suggesting that they, as blood relatives, should step up and take care of the child. However, neither of my children accepted this idea either. As the sole beneficiary of David's estate, I anticipate that lawyers will become involved to arrange some sort of financial support for the child. I am willing to comply with whatever the court orders, but I will only pay from David's estate and not from my own personal funds. This entire situation has been incredibly taxing, and I have been accused of being heartless. However, I believe I have a right to set boundaries and protect my own well-being. David's actions have left a lasting impact, and I am simply trying to navigate the aftermath as best as I can. Ultimately, I am committed to following through with whatever legal obligations arise, but I do not see it as my responsibility to personally care for a child who is not mine. I hope that by sharing this story and seeking advice, I can gain some clarity and perhaps some understanding of my actions and decisions. That is all I have to say on this matter. Relevant comments. Commenter: ages of OP's kids? They are adults. OP: to a now deleted comment. I found out about the affair over a year ago. Nothing about this is convenient. Commenter: downvoted. So apparently the affair wasn't that much of a problem, as you said you forgave him for that. But after he has a heart attack, you decide to divorce him. It just doesn't add up. OP: I was not responsible for the child. Commenter: true. That doesn't explain the divorce. I mean, you can divorce for whatever reason. You do you. To me, however, infidelity seems like a better reason to divorce than having a heart attack. OP: I was not to care for the child at all. It was all on David. Commenter: can you explain how a bedridden man was to care for an infant? Commenter: I agree you have zero responsibility to the child. However, if your kids did adopt, how would you feel about that, as the baby would then be your grandchild? OP: adopted grandchildren are great. To another new grandchild, I would do my best to treat them as such. Commenter: downvoted. David's will may have omitted the child due to the child not being around when it was written. The child should inherit a portion. The child should be eligible for Social Security survivor benefits. Baby needs a lawyer ASAP. OP: David's will also admitted his 2 adult children. Commenter: downvoted. You are evil. You wished him dead. Now he is. I hope you at least feel a little remorse for what you said. OP: I don't. He broke me. OP: to another commenter: we were getting divorced for a reason. Commenter: downvoted. 70% of the posts here are fake. Yeah, my husband just died, and I'm dealing with this child situation on top of it. I'm going to post on Reddit. OP: the situation has been dealt with. I was asked by several people for an update. I have now fulfilled those requests. OP responds to so many people telling her she needs to help the child. Why does anyone think I have the right to place the child with anyone besides family? I am not in any way related to this child, and the child is currently with their grandparents, blood relatives, with standing in legal matters. Editor's note: to provide clarity, I've created a timeline based on the events described by the original poster. 1. OP discovered the affair a year ago, around May 2023. At that time, she forgave her husband. 2. In January of this year, approximately 4 months before the original post, the baby was left with a husband who promised to take care of the child. 3. The husband suffered a heart attack in April, about a month before the original post. 4. Between May and June 2024, the husband passed away. Story 2. My husband left me for another woman right after I gave birth. It's heartbreaking to handle this while caring for a newborn. June 16, 2024. We've been married for 3 years. I'm 30 and he's 34. 6 weeks ago, I had a baby. After giving birth, my husband became cold and distant. I thought he just needed time to adjust to our new normal, but it turns out he was planning to leave us. 2 weeks ago, he told me that it's not working out anymore and he doesn't want to be married to me. The news broke my heart. I kept asking him why he was doing this to our family, and his response was, I can't pretend anymore. He took all his clothes and left. 2 days later, I had a gut feeling that he was seeing someone else, so I checked his email and found hotel reservations. He had taken her on a vacation when I thought he was on a business trip. I searched her name on Facebook and saw him in the background of her pictures. It turns out this affair has been going on for a year. I'm devastated dealing with this and taking care of a newborn baby. I've been crying all day for the past 2 weeks, deluding myself into thinking he will come back to us when he realizes he made a mistake. I texted him when I found out about the other woman, and he ignored me. Hours later, he asked how our son was doing, so I blocked him. I've been feeling so lost. I have no appetite and haven't been eating, which has resulted in my milk supply being very low. I don't know what to do anymore. Relevant comments. Commenter. Do you have family or friends who can help support you? Commenter. I know you don't feel ready, but you need legal advice as to your entitlements. You need him to pay child support at the very least. OP. My parents have been really supportive. OP. On if she is able to change the locks of the house. OP. I don't think I'm legally allowed to change the locks. Update. June 25th, 2024. This morning my husband came back saying he made a mistake leaving his family and wants to work things out. These past weeks have been incredibly rough. I've cried myself to sleep many nights while taking care of a newborn baby. The emotional roller coaster has been overwhelming, and I feel utterly exhausted and drained. When he walked through the door, my heart sank. I'm still deeply hurting and feel even worse now that he's back. His return doesn't erase all the emotional stress he's caused me. The betrayal, the loneliness, and the sheer pain of feeling abandoned by the person I trusted the most are still fresh wounds. He left me and our baby when we needed him the most during a time that should have been filled with joy and bonding as a new family. Instead, it was marred by his absence and the heartache of discovering his infidelity. The reality of him being with another woman while I was home caring for our child still stings deeply. Now I'm so lost and confused. On one hand, I want to believe that he is sincere, that he realizes the gravity of his mistake and truly wants to make amends. On the other hand, the trust that was shattered can't be easily rebuilt. I can't just forget the nights I spent alone worrying and the days I struggled to manage everything on my own. I am torn between the desire to give our relationship another chance for the sake of our child and the need to protect myself from further emotional harm. His return has stirred up a whirlwind of emotions, and I'm not sure if I'm ready or even capable of moving past what happened. The fear of being hurt again looms large. I need time to process everything, to think about what I truly want and need. It's not an easy decision, and the weight of it feels immense. I just wish I had some clarity, some way to see a path forward that feels right for both me and my baby. Relevant comments. Commenter. First comment. I wonder if she even knew he was married or had a pregnant wife/newborn baby. My guess is she recently found out. OP. I think she knew. He told me he left her, but I don't believe him. I actually sent her a message, and I'm currently waiting for a response. Commenter. Second comment. You need to speak with a lawyer because him being at the house instead of you may work against you in the divorce if it matters. OP. I asked him to leave, but he refused, so I left instead. I spoke to an attorney, and they said I can't stop him from staying in our home. OP. Questioning if her husband was having a mental breakdown or not. OP. If that's the case, he was having a mental breakdown even before I got pregnant. He was having an affair before I even got pregnant, and it all unfolded when I gave birth. Update text messages from other woman. June 26, 2024. Text with the AP and me confirm he's a liar and has been deceiving both of us. My previous post was quite vague, so I thought I'd provide more detail. When my husband came back yesterday, he apologized and said leaving was a huge mistake. He admitted he wasn't thinking straight and would do anything to make things right between us. He wants to be here for me and our son, repeatedly asking what he needs to do to make amends. I told him I didn't want to see him right now and that it was best if he left, but he refused. He kept begging to stay, saying he was sorry and calling himself an idiot who doesn't deserve me. I asked why he did this to us, and he admitted he wasn't thinking clearly and said nothing can justify his horrible actions. Transcripts of the text. Other woman. Hi, it's me. I don't use Messenger, so I thought it would be better to text you. Jared told me you were separated and that he'd started the divorce process. Other woman. I feel so stupid now for believing him. OP. How long were you seeing each other, and did you know about our son all this time? Other woman. I met him a year ago at Starbucks where he paid for my coffee. That moment marked the beginning of our relationship. A few months ago, I discovered the baby and decided to break things off. However, he insisted that it didn't mean anything and kept expressing his desire to be with me. Other woman. He moved in with me weeks ago until this morning when he woke up and said he's going back to his family. OP. He told me weeks ago, the same time he moved in with you, that it wasn't working with us anymore and he left me and our 4-week-old baby. Other woman. OMG, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I wouldn't have let him move in with me if I had known. OP, you don't need to apologize. You didn't know? Other woman. I'm stuck in a lease I can't afford by myself because he convinced me to get this apartment for us only to bail on me. OP, how old are you? Other woman. 25. Please feel free to ask me anything you want to know. Were you ever separated? OP, we were never separated and lived together until a few weeks after I gave birth. Other woman. Did he tell you why we separated? OP, he didn't say much. It was very brief. All he mentioned was that things weren't working out between us and something about growing apart. Other woman. When I found out you were pregnant, he said you were trying to trap him with the baby. OP, our child was planned actually, and it was his idea to begin with. It's clear as day he's a pathological liar. Is he back at your house, or was that also one of his lies? OP, he came back, but we're not getting back together. Other woman. Good for you. He's an idiot. For the record, I'm done with him too. Relevant comments. OP, how did OP feel after talking with the other woman? Thank you. I tried my best to be understanding and not get upset. This woman owes me nothing. I can't be mad at her. OP, on if the other woman knew about the baby, she was with the husband for a year before OP found out. She knew, but my guess is she really loved him and didn't care. Regardless, this is all on him. He was lying to both of us. I think she just wanted confirmation since we both know he lies about everything. If she chooses to take him back, that's on her. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.